occasionally something happens, like what just happened with me during the break. You say, okay, I've got to go to the lavatory there or something of this nature, all right? And you become indisposed. So Steve Forbes gave him a call, and he did not answer. However, I'm sure he will either call in this segment at some time, or I am sure that we will get him at 1:15 or so. So just sometimes you're away from your cell phone, things happen. This is, again, this is when you have, when you're the popular kind, just like Adam Fox, giving the fans what they want. That is a presentation of the NBA. That is a presentation of the NBA that is very, very friendly. Now, you're more critical, you're less romantic, you're less fanish. What do you say? Adam Silver comes to his senses, and Adam Silver is going to get it right this time. It only took him a year. They'll televise the schoolyard draft. Or you say they're going to keep up with this monstrosity. Like I said, I know 115, 142, people think that that's, really big and all that. The biggest thing now is how much influence that might just have on all of pro basketball, because now Adam Silver, the commissioner, is talking about a playoff format in which it is not so much East versus West, but rather 1-16. The NHL used to do that. The NHL used to do that in the 70s. NBA now trying to pick up on the NHL. I don't know. The feeling was at the time that, or the feeling is that, one playing 16, two playing 15, etc. First of all, I got something here. Why is 16 in the playoffs? Really, why is 16 in the play? Is 16 really a contender for the NBA title? Really? Why are they there? Number two, though, is I could see some things happening that could actually make that kind of intriguing. Say a Subway Series final. Like, Nets and Knicks. Clippers and Lakers. Something like that. I don't know. Spurs and Rockets. Something of that nature. I could see that. Magic and Heat. That could, of course, that has appeal then, let's just use Magic and Heat to Florida. Does it have appeal to the other 49 states? That's the other question. Anyway, Tri-City Sports Now, I got a feeling, is this Steve Forbes?
Marky, my fault.
Well, I just hope that your team isn't going to be shooting this late after the shot clock against the Citadel tomorrow, and I'm sure that you feel the same way. By the way, Duger Bocom, you're actually opening for him today. He's coming on in about a half hour. If you you might want to. Your opponent tomorrow, Duger.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So we've got him coming up there because he used to coach at Tusculum and all that. But Steve Forbes, he head coach of the ETSU men's basketball team, still receiving top 25 votes, by the way. You still got one that came out in the AP vote. I didn't quite get the writer yet who voted for you. But I guess, Steve, I want to begin. There was a lot of news this past week about the FBI and their investigation of college basketball. A lot of talks about major programs and all this could be going on probation. And I wanted to ask you just your thoughts on that probe. And first of all, how do you think it could affect East Tennessee State if a lot of programs are implicated?
Well, I don't think it's going to probably implicate us. I know it's not going to implicate us. I don't think that is. I think, you'll see, a trickle down if there's, changes in jobs or changes in administration and things of that nature. But my guess is, and this is just pure speculation, okay? I don't know. I'm not privy to any inside information or anything of that nature. But my guess is there'll be more NCAA problems than maybe federal problems. Now, and what I mean by that is, I think the federal government has been privy to a lot of conversations that the NCAA could not ever be privy to as far as wiretaps and things of that nature. So when the federal government, and the way I read these things, when the federal government finally decides, if they decide to turn those mounds of information over to the NCAA, then they will have the ability then to go after teams or institutions or people for NCAA violations.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not federal violations. I'm not going to sit here and say that there's not going to be any more federal problems. I don't know that. But my guess is, when it's all said and done, there'll be a lot more NCAA problems than federal problems.
Well, let me look at this from an ETSU standpoint. There has been some talk that the FBI might release their information in the coming weeks, along with the NCAA tournament, let's say, and it's a way to really, have that impact so that it doesn't,
right,
even embarrassing and all this. My question is could you foresee this where, okay, how many major programs are implicated? And then the NCAA bids come out, and let's just say, self-imposed penalties or whatever,
yeah,
a major program says, you know what, we're not going to go to the NCAA. No tournament for us. This is our self-imposed penalty.
yeah.
Could this actually open up a spot for ETSU this year if you don't win the SoCon, or improve your seeding if you do? Could you see a circumstance like that?
Marky, I haven't thought about that. I kind of doubt it, because I'll tell you why. Those self-imposed sanctions usually come later. They usually, take in the information, do their own investigation on whatever campuses we're talking about, and then they come to a conclusion of what they need, how they're going to proceed forward. My guess is the timing of it won't line up now. It might line up for the following year, where the teams say, okay, we're going to self-impose and we're not going to be in the NCAA tournament. I would be really surprised. I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility, but I would be very surprised if it would happen this year that fast.
Okay, so you don't foresee it occur this year, but could that actually improve then the program? Assuming that, you're the coach next year and such, but could that actually allow you to recruit a higher class of player to ETSU if sanctions are going to a major program?
You never know. I mean, kids want to play. They want to go somewhere and play, and they want to play in that tournament. And when those things are taken away, I do think it impedes your ability to recruit. Now, it depends on what the volume of that is. If it's 1 or 2, 3 programs, you're probably not going to see much trickle down in that, what you're talking about. Now, if it's the volumes of schools that, people are speculating, then you may see that. You might see some of that, because kids, especially really good players, they're not going to want to go somewhere and not have a chance to play in a tournament, or have a chance to maybe play on TV. Who knows? Back in the day, when you and I were growing up, they used to take TV away from people.
Sure.
I don't think they do that anymore, probably based on these TV contracts. But, you start taking those things away, then I do think it impedes your ability to get good players.
The last time, I know in football that there was a TV ban, Steve Forbes, 1995 Ole Miss. And so it hasn't happened since then. And by the way, speaking of Ole Miss, have you gotten any calls from Oxford this week?
No, I haven't.
Okay. I have to ask that question, as you know. But anyway, here, Steve, we're talking to Steve Forbes. He's the head coach of ETSU, and the reason why we ask these sort of things is that the magic number to clinch the Southern Conference men's basketball regular season championship is now 2 after UNCG lost to Mercer. Mercer finally playing to their potential this year over the weekend, while the Bucks were able to handle Western Carolina pretty well, 72-61, in a game that oftentimes was more lopsided than that. But I know how coaches look at things, and I saw something that I thought was a little in the box score, a little distressing to you. It's 22 turnovers, I believe.
Yeah. Okay.
And I mean, it reminded me of the opener against NKU. What did you do wrong to turn the ball over so often?
I think, game, I think we were pretty decent. I thought we got sloppy late, Marky. I thought, we got up 23 in the second half, came out playing really well in the second half, and then I think we relaxed and we got really kind of sloppy. And Western Carolina kept playing, like they should, and so they forced us into some really sloppy turnovers. I showed the film yesterday and last night to the team, and I clipped every one of those turnovers, and a lot of them were late, and a lot of them were just careless, like relaxed because we're ahead. And so I think those are something we got to fix, no question. We had 10. It's weird. I thought we didn't do a good job of sharing the ball against Greensboro. I thought we did a lot better job of sharing the ball against Western Carolina. But against Greensboro, we only had 10 turnovers, and against these guys, we had 22. Now, maybe some of that was me, getting on them about, listen, the ball's got to move. It can't stick in your hands. But with that comes the responsibility of making the right decision. And I felt like probably the last 10 minutes, we didn't play very well. We just kind of coasted on home. Instead of winning, up 23, winning by 30, we cruised in at 11. Now, we never had any score pressure on us as far as was the game going to ever be. I don't think the game was ever in jeopardy. We just didn't finish it in the correct manner.
The one thing I wanted to ask, are you at all concerned about your team becoming selfish? Because you mentioned that that was how you thought the team played against UNCG, perhaps pressing a little when they fell down early on and only 4 assists. I mean, my goodness, DeSanta Bradford had more assists in one game against Western than the entire team had on Monday, but 6-4. But, I would say turnovers, assists, could this be, selfish play?
I don't think it's selfish. I think some of it was the game, was just the way we were being played against Greensboro. That we were able to get to the basket off the dribble. We had them spread out, we got to the basket, but we didn't finish those plays at the rim like we did here. And some of it was lineman was the secondary defender was coming to block shots. We weren't recognizing that and making the extra pass. But I think we had 14 assists on Saturday, something like that. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I thought we did a really good job of moving the ball, finding the open guy. We did a good job of finding Devontavious Payne, who had a big game for 3. I don't think so. I really don't. I'm always pretty mindful of those things. In fact, even today, going into the last week of the season, I had a individual meeting with every senior, just to make sure, just to understand what we're playing for. You only get one senior year. This is it. Just a lot of things, just seeing where the heartbeat of our team is. And I think as a coach, it's important to do X's and O's, but I think the most important thing is to define reality. What is the reality of our team? What is our reality? And that's what I try to keep a very firm thumb on.
Well, we're talking to Steve Forbes, ETSU head men's basketball coach, and Payne, a lot has been said about Bradford. It seems but a lot has been said about McLeod as a scorer, but Payne scoring 22, and as you said, he had a good day shooting beyond the arc, 6 of 7. I've got the box score in front of me. That's how I know this. But tell us a little about the development of Payne. I mean, this seemed to me like, okay, here's yet another weapon for ETSU. Here's somebody else who can score if somebody else is not there. How important was it for Payne to have a big day?
Well, it was really important, because Jalen is not 100%, so it gave Devontavious the opportunity to start. But let me just say that he's good enough to be a starter. He started at the beginning of the year, then we changed things around, and we kind of fell into some roles, and he never once said a word. And that's hard for a senior, I'm sure, to come off the bench that can score the ball like he can score it. And Devontavious Payne is one of the finest young men I've ever coached. He's a tremendous person. He gets up every morning, makes his bed, goes to class. I've never had to have an academic meeting with him in my entire 2 years he's been here. He's been a tremendous student, person, just takes care of his business. And so I was really happy for him to have that game yesterday or Saturday. I've been really pleased with the way he's come on his senior year. He's really bought in. He's really focused on not only him playing well, but our team winning. Now, he doesn't say a lot. He's a very quiet young man. He's kind of like when you and I were growing up, the E.F. Hutton commercials.
Yeah.
When E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. And I think he's kind of that kind of guy where he don't say too much, but when he says something, people pay attention. And I've really enjoyed coaching him. I've enjoyed my relationship with him, and obviously my relationship with him will be forever. But I'm just real pleased that he was able to help our team win like that on Saturday.
I think number 11, sir, that's the hot number, I think, in 2018, 2017. Carson Wentz, maybe he wasn't the quarterback in the Super Bowl, but he certainly made a lot of headlines. And then Denny Hamlin finishing third in the Daytona 500. Number 11, and Devontae Payne and all that. That's becoming the number of the year in 2018. So there's another angle I'm sure you haven't figured out. You haven't looked at. Hey, Steve Forbes here. The Citadel comes up next. Last time you played him down in Charleston, it was a very close game. In fact, they had a chance to win it at the end. One thing I noticed, they fouled you 22 times in that game. And we mentioned last week how, you endured 21 fouls against UNCG. So my question is really, are you prepared to play a team that might be looking to hack you tomorrow?
Well, yeah, I think that's a good thing. To get to the line is what we're trying to do. You always want to shoot more free throws than your opponents. Actually, you like to make more than they attempt.
Mm-hmm, sure.
But, that's the stat. But, I think that shows that we were an aggressive, attacking team, and that's the way we play. And I think sometimes we don't get the benefit of the doubt on that. I think a lot of teams in our league rely on the three. We don't do that. We play off the post. We drive the ball with aggression to the rim, and I don't think we always get a good whistle at times. And so, I felt like, when you're putting pressure on the rim like that, then you're going to get fouled. And so I want our team to continue to play in what we like to call attack mode. And so, I think I think Citadel's had a good year. They're playing better and better. We got very lucky to win down there, but we did win. I'm sure Chris Mack felt the same way when they walked out of the Cintas Center this December after we played them. They probably felt pretty lucky, but they did win. And so, that's what we got to do. We got to play better. Right now, it's all about playing better every game now. It's not about, changing the offense or changing the defense or, fixing the rotation. Now it's about playing better every game. Play better, practice better every game so you're playing at a high level when the chips are on the line.
Well, Steve Forbes, so the key, if they continue to foul you, making the shots from the free throw line. Of course, against the Citadel, it didn't shoot that well from the three-point arc, but I would imagine they would go hand in hand, good shooting on the line, good shooting on threes, if they attempt to play this style. Still, I want to look at this. I remember last year, you cut down the nets at a practice when he clinched the share of the Southern Conference Championship. Right now, I know you're not going to like counting your chickens before they hatch, but a magic number of 2, the odds are you're going to be outright the men's basketball Southern Conference champions in the regular season if you take care of business. So my question is, did you have a hand in, or was it by design to play your final 3 games at home, possibly with a look to cutting down the nets, or certainly having the tough games at home to finish out the year? How much influence do you have in the schedule?
0.
Oh.
Absolutely none. And I'm not happy with our schedule. I have not liked our schedule the whole entire time because what you just said, we opened up the season on the road, and at that time we didn't know who was who in the zoo. Mercer was picked first.
Sure.
And that's where we started on the road. Then we went to Sanford, who was picked second in some polls or third, and then we went to our rival Chat. We played 3 games in a row on the road to start the season. Then we just came off that again. 3 games in a row. We've left our fans for 3 games, and we had one stretch where we played 5 games in 11 days. And now we've packed 3 games into Tuesday through Sunday. So, no, I don't like our schedule. I haven't liked it all year. Now, has it played well to now? Yes, but think about this, Mark. Chattanooga's played 9 home games already. Most of the teams in the league have played 8 or 7. We've played 6. So we've had the disadvantage going all the way till now as far
one thing I know you've talked about is that you don't have necessarily the last say in scheduling at Freedom Hall. Now, that said, there really aren't that many events at Freedom Hall. This isn't Madison Square Garden. So the question is, what kind of conflicts might you have in scheduling at Freedom?
I don't know. That's something, I don't have that, in front of me. I do know around Christmas, more non-conference, to be honest with you.
Sure.
There's a lot more things around Christmas time, Thanksgiving, that makes scheduling probably non-conference a lot harder. Probably when I say that, I probably should say, well, more non-conference. Now, there might be a week. There's been a week here in the past, like, where we've had some things, conflict, and maybe we had to go on the road. But not as prevalent, I don't think, after Christmas than before Christmas.
Well, I tell you what, I've got a break coming up here and still a ton of questions, so I've already been preparing for next week. It's always good to look ahead here. Steve Forbes, thanks for joining us. Wish you the best of luck against the Citadel and in your final 3 games there at Freedom Hall before the SoCon tournament. It is an exciting time at ETSU. And yes, a chance now for you actually to create a little bit of history with a good week. You'll be the first ETSU team to ever win 24 games or more for 3 straight years. Tri-City Sports Now coming back after this. I know